So we come in, we're on the scene select menu. We select the start here scene.
No, you don't do it that way. You have to rotate it to where you want it to be.
Okay, rotate it. Rotate the knob to where you want it to be.
Right.
And then you hit recall.
Correct.
So you see everything recalled, but as you can see for us right now,
yeah,
no microphones are on.
Well, now we're on the first layer right here, so right. You want to go home, right? So you're on the first layer. Everything's on, but nothing is up. So there's no sources that are going to go anywhere.
And these are our inputs. This is what we're receiving.
Inputs,
okay,
right.
Now we want to see what is it going out to the mix.
Okay.
So we hit this one.
Well, that's your master layer. So you want to see if your masters are up and on for one thing, and all of your masters are up. Typically, they're up to 0.
And what we had found was these were all turned off.
They were.
On the scene, current scene, everything was turned off.
Well, not as what was stored.
Right.
But as the console was when we walked in.
Yeah, some user did that.
So, yeah. So we recalled a scene, and we recalled start here, which is what I left the console as. Hey, gang, this is what you start with. Always recall this scene. That way you know you have a very predictable place to start from. Okay.
So we're using microphone 2. So we would bring the fader to 0 for microphone 2.
Not necessarily 0, but
somewhere
you'd want to start somewhere where you know you'd get some kind of volume out. Okay.
So now we want to see, is that going out to the mix?
Okay, so if that's your primary concern versus the house, you know, it is probably going to go to house because stereo is on, right? And stereo is up and on, so it is going to go to the house.
Right.
But if you're concerned about it going out there, one thing that I'm seeing that concerns me about how this was left on the start here, because when I built start here, Mix 7 was not a part of what was going on. Cytec came in after the fact and did that. I built this before Cytec came in and put the monitors in.
So right now, if we go here...
Nope, hang on a second. What's going on here on Mix 7, you see the little pre right there? That means that this volume control has nothing to do with the level going out there. It's pre-fader. You want this post-fader.
Okay.
You want anything going to Mix 7 post-fader. Mix 7 had nothing to do with anything when I built that scene.
So how do we fix that?
That's easy. So what we do here is we want to make, I'm pretty sure this is how you do it. Thought you just pressed it there.
How do you have to get, like you did with the number 7?
No, I don't think so. Let's see.
Up there.
There we go. Okay. So Mix 7, there is a all post. This is what we want. So we just took everything and made all inputs all post. That's exactly what we want. We don't want anything pre-fader going to Mix 7.
That's pure uncontrolled sound.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 100% of input.
Yeah. As long as it's on, it's going out there, no matter what the fader is.
With pre-fader, 100% of what you're receiving as input is going right back out the door.
That's
where you're not controlling the output.
Right. Now, if you're running monitors on stage, that makes sense.
So they can tell what they're putting out.
Yeah, and this doesn't, what you're affecting in the house
doesn't affect what the
what the artist is hearing on stage. Then that's exactly what you want in a monitor situation. Yeah. So, but not out there. You know, you want that very controlled. Hey, I just dropped the fader. I don't want that going out there either.
Okay.
So that's a post-fader situation. Okay? So that's what we've done. So we're going to close that out. Now, as you'll see, here's Mix 7. So I select this mic. The pre is gone. I select this mic, or this source. The pre is gone. So I did an all post where all input sources for Mix 7 is now post-fader.
Only Mix 7, because I noticed we still have pre. Right. We still have pre.
Yeah, and we have to know.
Because those we're not using.
Now, you said we're also using Mix 8, are we not?
Correct. Mix 8 is what they were using to send to the video camera.
And is that so that in this video camera, is that the one that's right up here?
That would be the Kazar coming in with a aftermarket camera here recording to put on Huddle so that if you missed the session, you could watch it. So he's wanting to get what's going out.
So is that always mix 8?
That's what we didn't know. That's what Mr. McClendon's question was. Can we make that for the camera video? Because we do have an output back there for 8.
Yeah, in fact,
or something.
We ought to make, in my opinion, we ought to make all of the mixes post.
Okay. Yeah, so that we can control the volume.
Well, monitor 1 and 2 is post as well. That may or may not be a good thing. Just be aware. See, those are the things that the sound operator needs to clearly understand. If you got monitors on stage, to understand how is that feed being developed to that monitor. And right now, on this scene, it's a post-fader setup, you know.
So if it was pre-fader...
Maybe that makes sense,
right.
You know. It just depends on how it's being utilized.
So pre-fader, it still requires it to be turned on here.
To be turned on.
Right. So...
But not turned up.
Turned up.
Pre-fader.
Pre-fader.
Post-fader requires, it's the pick point after the fader, so it requires the fader to be up. Post-fader.
Okay.
Pre-fader, the fader doesn't even have to be up.
As long as
it just
that's
has
on,
to be on.
They're getting 100% of whatever the input is.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is set by the gain on the input.
That's exactly right.
So you're getting 100%.
Yeah.
Whatever the gain input without being able to control it.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So from a performance standpoint, and you have an artist on the stage, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
As far as a pre-fade send, and that's how you actually do a performance monitor, is a pre-fade.
Okay.
But sometimes from a simplistic point of view, which might make more sense from this type of operation, a post-fader setup may make more sense. And maybe that's why during discussions about, you know, how do we set this up, initially when this scene was built, start here, you know, that it makes more sense to run the monitor sends as a post-fader send because the pre is gone on monitors 1 and 2.
All right, so that would be if the guitar player is hearing what's coming out, he knows what he's sending in, so he can adjust or whatever instrument is plugged into it at that given time.
Correct. So it's just important to understand the difference between pre and post, not only for monitors, but like in this situation too, you know. Is it a pre-fader where you have no control over the volume, it's just on or off? Well, actually you do, but it's right here.
Yeah, it's controlled either here or by the volume on the TV.
Yeah, but that's a global volume. That's not an independent source volume.
Right.
That's global.
So they're getting they were getting everything. So now they're only getting what's being sent. Like, so when we go back to here, when they're talking during a professional development, now the sound for Mix 7 will be whatever we're sending to the same in-house speakers.
Yes.
Whatever we're controlling the faders.
Yeah, now it is an independent
output.
send because it is Mix 7 post fader. And now we need to make that change in every one of the scenes for that to be very predictable. And yes, we'll make a separate scene that says professional development, you know, so that you all can come in and when you want to do that.
Right, because with the professional development would be, you know, microphones, and then it would be the computer inputs from up front. Mm-hmm. So when they plug in their laptops, they play videos and stuff like that. We want to be able to control all that in a professional development. All that goes out there so they can hear the audio. What it had is, when we had the whole district here, it got kind of crowded.
Oh, sure.
So some people wanted to sit out and watch TV, so they had to leave the door so they were hearing the sound come out the door.
Right. And that's what this camera's about.
And we finally got that camera centered on stage. It took
so you have a controller for that camera somewhere?
Yeah, but they're not supposed to touch it because once you turn it, it's because it's so long range. It's hard to get it dialed in.
These cameras have presets.
Do they?
And what you do is
set a preset.
Once you do the preset setup, push of a button, set that exact position, just like your camera at your church.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I'm doing a ton of work with right now at all kinds of churches. I just did a 5-camera setup over at E3.
Okay.
So, all right. So why don't we go ahead and correct this problem with all the scenes, so this will not be an issue no matter what scene is recalled.
Okay. So
Let's
we're gonna
let's
take all
just
of the scenes to post fader.
yeah. So let's just start in the beginning here.
Normal.
So,
Recall.
let's recall this. Let's unlock this so that we can correct this
Because
issue.
we're in administrator mode, we can do this.
Yes. So mix 7's up and on, so that master's there. Okay. So let's go back to the input. Go home. Let's make this.
Which button did you hit as home? The
I
center
just
frequency?
I just hit one of the EQ buttons because that'll take you home.
Okay.
11 is also by default the home button.
Okay.
Just so you know. You notice it's lit.
Mm-hmm.
By default, the console comes, and I normally don't interrupt this. 11 is the home button.
Okay.
But this is too, and it's real easy to just reach over and tap a raised knob.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are all buttons as well, and you can just tap that raised knob and go home. It's just real easy to reach over and boom.
Right.
So we are going to we're going to turn that back on, and then we're going to go all post. That just took all channels on mix 7 and turned them all into post, not pre.
All right, and this
It
is
did all
for
of them.
scene normal.
Yeah, this is
Scene
for
one.
normal. We're going to do that with every one of the scenes
Scene
that are
one
on this
normal.
board, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to close that. We're going to check that. So I just punched up a channel, and on mix 7, there's no pre anymore, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, there's also some labeling here. Let's see here. Sound monitor, which you would want as post. Light monitor, it's pre. That really should be post. Let's turn it into a post situation. All post. Okay? So it's an all post situation unless they were used to see this as part of what's the design. Did you want something that's on stage? Well, it's all pre, so that can be fixed on an individual basis. Let's say they had one mic on stage, the director's up there going, okay, instrument 5, 6, do this, do that. That could be a pre situation. But for now, let's make that particular send all post. Because I'm not sure what they're monitoring in the light booth precisely, so let's make it all post. And we'll do this on every scene. Mix 8, that if you're doing that as a send to a record somewhere, that should be all post.
Okay.
So we're going to touch that twice, all post. Okay. None of these other mixes are labeled to do anything. So I think we're done as far as that goes. So what we've done...
So in reality, what we should do is change that mix 7 TVs, mix 8.
Okay, yeah, let's do that while we're here. Right, so what we do is we go back to
Camera.
the master layer right here. Watch where my finger's at here. Master layer. Select. Oh, we got to go.
Select.
So select that where you're
Mix.
mix 7. And we go back here to mix. We touch what that input was. So in other words, this is the patch side of things. We touch that, and then we can label this. What we do is we touch that, clear that.
Well, we can still leave it mix 7. But
No, it's already there. There's a permanent mix
okay.
7 down
Got
in
it.
the bottom. Yeah, that's important to know what is it really. And we can go lob TV. You only have so many
Yeah,
spaces.
2 TVs, yeah.
TV. And we'll go with that. Lob TVs. Okay?
Okay.
So we're done with that. And we don't know necessarily what mix 8 is, so you can see how it changed that label.
The
right?
lobby TVs.
Okay?
Yep.
Right. So Lob TVs is now mix 7. Mix 8 we'll leave alone because we don't necessarily know what it is. Was there any other mixes that we...
No, just Mix A was the one I think we were trying to use it to feed the video camera for Coach Kazar.
How often does that happen, would you say? Is that a
Beginning
really
of the
rare
school?
thing?
No, every one of the professional developments, he's in the back of their own videotape.
Oh, okay, okay. So we do want to put some kind of label on that then.
Right.
What do we want to call it?
I don't know. Something that has to do with a video camera audio feed is what it is.
Okay, we don't want to have any kind of mix-up with this.
Right.
So,
Auxiliary out. Aux out. So we know we have an auxiliary output that we can send that output to wherever we need to send it. Can you send it to a computer audio? If he's trying to record off of his
it could
computer,
be anything.
so we can make an auxiliary output.
But any of those outputs could be that, as far as that goes. That's not.
But I think I don't know if
something.
he's got it hooked up as an XLR to an 1/8 of an inch jack. Then it would be.
Yeah, you have to have the appropriate interface in order to
Right.
do that because these are all balanced. Everything in, everything out is balanced on these boards.
Okay.
There is no quarter inch.
So I guess we'll just
there is
leave
no
it.
RCA.
Just leave it as Mix 8 for now. We'll know. I'll let Mr. McClendon figure that out. But now he sees right here, step by step, how to go in and change that.
Okay, that's fine if you want to do that. Or
8.
MX rather, is how they've done it. So MX 8. Okay. All right, MX 8. Okay. All right. Let's see. So we've labeled these two here.
They're both set up for post.
They are. Oh, okay. Yeah, we go here. Okay. No, all inputs are on, but they're not up. And that's, in my opinion, that's normal.
Right.
I like that. Except for a very specific purpose scene. Then you want them up and on. So as soon as you turn the mic on, boom, you're there.
And that would be kind of what
your
I would envision
professional-
for professional development
Yeah,
is
sure.
so any administrator can come in, know that they go to the professional development scene, hit recall, and
Right.
mics should be set where they are, and then.
Uh-huh.
But you still need somebody back here because some people talk louder than others, and
Yeah.
you should always have a sound person,
Now you can set up dynamics control
right?
on things like that.
I think that's
where
getting
it helps
beyond us.
Control that. No, it's automatic as part of that scene.
Okay.
If it's a very specific purpose scene, you can set that up. So, okay. So let's save what we've done. So normal, store, and we're going to call it that with wireless auto mix. That's another thing. As a part of this scene, this board has 16 channels of auto mix. That's a big deal. It's a big, big deal. When you have that many wireless involved on one stage, what it does is it helps you control the gain and switching automatically, flawlessly. It's really good without you even knowing it. And it helps maintain feedback issues. So, store. Are you sure you want to read every one of these prompts? This is part of my training on this stuff. You want to make sure you read every prompt that comes up. Just store it to scene 1. Yes, I do. Okay. So that is now done. And we are going to lock that scene so that you can't inadvertently. There's 2 steps you got to go through. First of all, you have to be admin. And secondly, you have to unlock that, just like I did right there. Okay?
Good.
So now let's go back. Let's go to the, oops, remember, you can't do that. So you have to go here, unlock it, recall. Now let's just fix the things we just did. Actually, what we could do is I think start here is exactly the same as normal, but let's check. So let's go home. These are all up and on. Let's label these. So we push that. We go here. We clear. We go LOB space TVS. Okay. And then we decided to leave Mix 8 alone, right? Okay. And now we're going to go back here. and we are going to push something. And we're going to go here to mix 7 here, and we're going to, and all post. So now everything for mix 7 is all post.
And we'll do the same for mix 8.
And we'll do the same for mix 8, right? And what we can do here is while we're here, we can just go mix 8,
okay.
all post, twitch. So now everything on mix 8 is all post. In digital world, there's generally 2 or 3 different ways to do a single task. So it's whatever makes more sense to you to get accomplished. So mix 7, mix 8, there it's labeled Lob TVs. We didn't put a label on that. Let's select another channel. 7, no pre. 8, no pre. There was something else I thought we changed as well. And you notice there's no lighting. There was a mix on the normal, I believe it was.
We'll switch scenes.
That had that. We haven't saved what we've done yet.
What we've done yet.
That said lighting booth. So on start here, there's no lighting booth send that's established. I don't know how much they use that, but there's a monitor speaker right on the other side of the wall.
So right now that means scene 2.
Yeah, the start here scene.
Start here,
no,
scene 2. There's no audio feed going next door.
That's correct.
Light booth. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's all we wanted to do, right?
Yep.
As far as changes. So let's go ahead and save this then. Start here, store. Start here with AutoMix, store. Are you sure you want to put it in 2? Yes, I am. Okay. So let's go ahead and establish that. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go back to normal and recall that. And now let's go see which one it was that was the light booth. So it was mix 6. So let's go and put a label on mix 6.
On start here.
On start here. Should have recalled it.
Nothing moved because we're the same.
Okay.
Go back home.
Go to home, and then we're back here. Mix 6.
Select mix 6.
And we're here. Clear. And actually we'll go LITE. And I don't know that we'll have enough letters here. I think it's only 7. PTH. That'll make sense. Yeah.
Light booth.
Yeah. Okay. So we got that, and we already made our other changes before we moved. So we can go back here. Remove the lock. Store. 2. Yes. Okay. So we're doing that. Put the lock on. Let's go wireless mics. Recall. Didn't hear anything change. But let's have a look and see what's going on. Oh, Lightmon. So, okay, same thing there. Now we need to change this and make it
Lob TV.
Yeah. Lob. Oops. Yeah, I want that there. TV. Lob TVs, right? And this we left alone. So I think we're here. Let's go back to first layer. Gonna turn these both into post. There we go. All post, right? And then from here we can go to mix 8, all post. Done with that. And
oh, now kidding, those lights are hot.
Huh?
I was just, my head was under that.
Oh,
I was like, ooh, my head's getting hot.
These should be LEDs.
It should switch all of those to LED, huh?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. No reason to put that kind of heat in here. So,
That
and
looks good.
that should actually be
Post.
all post as well. Okay. And sub is post. Okay, that really needs to be all post. Mons are still post. You know, if that's the way they've been running them and there hasn't been an issue, then let it go. Okay, I think we're there. Wireless mics.
And then we don't worry about AP. That's America's Got Special Talent.
Okay, so that was a special one that was built, and I'm going to go ahead and make those changes on this particular scene.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see. That's flashing because something, it says I'm not on that scene, so I didn't recall it. So now, so when it's flashing, it says, you're not really on the scene that you've selected, by the way.
Good.
So it lets you know. Okay, so now let's make those changes here too. So here we are, we're selected there. Let's go home. Clear. You know, when I was talking with the SciTech guys, I said, you want to make sure you relabel that mix. And it's like the guy I was talking to did not clearly understand how to work one of these boards. And so I walked him through step by step. And I said, did you get that? Yeah.
So then I hit.
And there's no save. You've already done it. So you can stay there. Was there any one other of these? Lightmon's already there. So yeah, you can close that out. And so go ahead and go home. Go to the first layer. Okay, we're home already. So go first layer, and now select that twice, that knob twice. Do it again. Fat finger it. Not the on off, but fat finger it. There you go. Go all post. And go to 8. All post. Go back to 6. All post. And there you're done.
So you actually have to touch and hold it for a split second. You just can't boop.
Yeah, just a moment.
You have to kind of push.
I think so.
It's not a tap, it's a
push. It's not a real fine point thing. You just kind of have to use the blunt end of your finger, I've noticed.
Should have been used.
Yeah, that might work. Try it. Try something on and off and see if it actually works. Yeah, it does. That's cool.
Oops. I can't get it back on. There it goes.
There it goes. All right, so
styluses could be helpful, but nobody should be messing with that.
So now we're ready to save this. So we're going to store, run with wireless automix, store 10.
And it automatically shows over here the updated date.
The updated date, yeah. If the clock on the console is correct, right?
Well, the date's the important one. I don't know about the clock.
Buddy, we're going to go down here. Should be one at 99. Yep. There's a whole series here. And I always do this, is I'll go down and put another set.
As a backup.
As a backup. I don't see another run, but I do see normals. So what we're going to do is we're going to recall normal right here.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to go down here.
To the other normal.
To the other normal.
And save it.
And save it there. Just as a backup. Because I know I do this. So if someone calls me, what do I do? Okay, here's what you do. So there's 2 normals. I don't know why. This one was 4:15:19. The same thing here. I don't know why there is.
4 seconds later.
Not sure why. Maybe I had somebody else do that. I don't know. So
store it.
We'll do the same thing here.
For wireless mics. Oh, for normals.
Turn the lock off.
So as we see here, 98, 99, and 100 are backups. If we have to, we can go back to that.
Yeah.
And we can bring it back to life.
Uh-huh. it'll at least get you to a point where all the input gain structure, the auto mix is turned on. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff is done for you. And the routing for all the outputs, blah, 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 yeah, is done. So it's a big deal. There should be another set down here at 200. Okay, I don't know what a lock's doing down there, but okay. So, interesting. That's interesting. Oh, that was interesting.
That was weird.
Yeah. So let's store it there.
And you also have an extra one at 200.
Yes, or down around 300. There should be one.
Store.
Lock. And now we need to go back clear to the top and recall whatever we want to recall. Okay? Because we don't want to be sitting on 300.
Right.
So let's
Go to normal.
recall. Start here.
Start
Yeah. First of all, let's lock that. So recall that, and we did that. So,
Okay.
so what I don't have popping up is, are you sure you want to recall?
Right.
So probably during the initial training session, we had a discussion about that, because you can do that where you have a prompt that comes up and says, are you sure? Because that can be dangerous.
Right. Because if
Because
you
you
already
could have a
stuff
whole
set,
bunch of parameters happen and you recall the scene,
they're gone.
boom! 1,000 things could happen just like that.
All the dynamics you had programmed for
Exactly.
a specific microphone disappear.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So it's important to understand what it is you're about to do and how important is it. Well, the thought was at the time, if I remember correctly, we're going to have regular training.
Okay.
And that never transpired.
Yeah, we'll get that with Mr. McClendon. So if we're going to create a new one, we would what? Come like to 4?
You don't do anything yet.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything yet. Yeah, you could. You could right now create a scene at 4, and you could call it anything you want. So you could do it right now.
So you can back it up and call it.
You could call it whatever you want, pro development, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
DEV.
Gosh. I'm going to have the surgery, by the way.
Delete, right?
Where they, yeah. Go ahead. Where they put a hole in your head.
Store.
Stick a probe down in your brain
we
at
need
the
to get
right
you back.
place. And
Okay, we got to
Yeah.
come back and have some more training before that happens.
okay, you know what this is then? DV.
Yeah.
All right. No, it's a very low risk.
So here's the
procedure,
one.
believe it or
Oh,
not.
that's the store. Yeah. See, okay.
Yeah.
But now we want to.
But now we want to make changes. So now we can make whatever changes we want.
So like if we're using
Mm-hmm.
the first
Whatever
3
mics.
microphones,
Yep.
and then
And typically you'll probably start at -5 or so.
-5.
It all depends on how you're going to use those mics. If it's talking, then probably up around 0 is okay.
Right. This is what professional development would be, is talking.
Okay, so 3 mics.
Sure, 3 mics sounds good.
Okay,
And then where's the computer input?
right here. So
we would bring that up.
yeah, go -5. By the way, they are
Paired.
linked. So
Those are
yeah,
paired, so
okay.
that's
So
good.
try that, and see how that
And
works.
then
for
what
you.
we would do is now we can go back and save it. And this would save right where this is set.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So we would do that here.
Yes.
Hit that.
Mm-hmm.
And then store it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the name you want. So
Yep.
store.
Professional develop. Pro DV is professional development.
Mhm.
Store.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to store it? Yes.
Yep. Now lock that scene so nobody else can without really thinking about it. Oops.
I have the same problem on my phone.
Yeah. Go home. Okay, that's it. So you've saved that. Now let's recall normal.
So I'm going to
Or
recall
start
normal.
here. Yeah, whatever.
So I
Start
come
here.
here,
Yeah, recall
Use the
us.
knob. Go to start here.
Yeah, recall.
Hit recall.
Yeah.
And the microphone, as you see, everything
Yeah,
drop
right.
back out
Start here and then go home.
and go home.
And
And then
remember,
we'll leave it here.
yeah, you can use 11.
You can also use 11.
So now, what's important to understand And you know what? There's this wonderful space right here that all kinds of notes could be generated to put on there for general operations.
Well,
And
that's where you set your
notes-
iPad or your computer.
It can be. And those notes could say mix 7 is for the lobby TVs. Mix 8 is for an output to blah, blah, blah camera.
So any administrator coming in would know, or anybody that's using the
Administrators don't know squat as far as operations.
Right.
But people that do run this, that's information they need to know. So a note here indicating what we just did would be really important, because you're going to move on to all kinds of other things. Now, I do this every day, so I might very well remember, because I did remember Mix 7 from my discussion with SciTech, is about these displays out here. So,
Right.
yeah.
And that's why I recorded this whole thing, so that it's 35 minutes long. So I think we're probably good right about there with what we need for now. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.